Welcome back everyone, Meanpooh here, and today we have the Dell G5 5500. The machine is equipped with an i7-10750H CPU, an RTX 2070 Max-Q, 16GB of RAM, a 512GB NVMe drive, and the panel is 15.6 inches with a refresh rate of 144 Hz. The package was delivered by FedEx on the 21st ahead of the estimated time of December 3rd. The machine was delivered in a brown box with the Dell logo centered, along with a small computer on the bottom right. On the other side, there was another Dell logo in the center with a warning of an explosive battery if mishandled. There's also a number you can call just inside the block. On the top, there is an Intel logo, and on each side of the box, there was just packing information and nothing else. On the bottom, there's a barcode and a certification along with how many pounds the edges of the box could support before crushing. Opening the lid, there was a sticker stating, "They are here to help should you need it." I was a little disappointed at this point, as I thought there would be another box inside with the computer, and this is just the shipping box. Looking inside the box, the machine is held in the middle with two pieces of corrugated inserts. My concern was that the box wasn't all that thick and it could have been damaged. Inside we have a warranty, safety information pamphlet, and a Dell G5 setup card. This is the power brick. It's 240 watts and the model number is LA240PM190. Removing the machine, it's protected by a thin plastic wrap, which is thick on the top and thin on the backside. Removing the plastic reveals that the lid of the G5 is a glossy black with what seems to be a flip paint job. As you move across, you will see the full spectrum of the rainbow, which looks pretty cool. The Dell logo is debossed in the center and will reflect like a mirror. The lid is split into thirds, with the centerpiece raised higher than the sides. Reminds me of a luggage set with a buckled leather strap. Anyway, the machine can be opened with one hand or finger, which is a plus, and on the inside there is a protective plastic liner for the screen. Inside you will find a black non-mechanical keyboard which has a black matte finish. The logo G5 is debossed on the top left with the power button about 6.5 inches on the right. The color of the fonts and icons on the keys are white, with the WASD keys having a thick border around them. The keyboard area also features a full numpad for those that need it. Typing on the keyboard was pleasant, with no keys sticking, and felt a bit better than the Nitro 5. On the bottom left, there is a Dell sticker stating the model of the laptop as well as some features. The right side bottom has the NVIDIA RTX and Intel logos. The trackpad feels very smooth to use and was very responsive. It's not MacBook quality, but it will do just fine. It has the smoothness of the MSI GE75 Raider trackpad, in which I really love. The trackpad supports all the newest gestures such as pinch to zoom, 2, 3, and 4 finger input. Since the keyboard area doesn't have any loud or intrusive colors, it's kind of stealthy looking, which is nice. There's an important button that I'll mention and will touch on a little bit later, and that is the G key, which is located on the function 7 key. Moving to the front of the machine, we have a light bar that is very close to 13 inches long. On the left side, we have a power adapter port in which you would plug in the power adapter to provide power to your computer and charge the battery. The battery status light. It will glow solid white when the battery has more than 5% charge. It will also turn amber if the computer is running on battery and the battery has less than 5% charge. The light will stay off if any of these conditions are met. A mini display port to connect to a TV or another DisplayPort-in enabled device. an HDMI 2.0 port, which also lets you connect to a TV or another HDMI-in enabled device. A USB 3.2 Gen 1 port with PowerShare, providing data transfer speeds up to 5 gigabits per second. With PowerShare, you will be able to charge your USB devices even when your computer is turned off. A network port. This will allow you to connect Ethernet RJ45 cable from a router or broadband modem for network or internet access. This port supports 10, 100, 1000, and 2500 megabits per second. Here we have a Thunderbolt 3 USB Type-C port. It supports USB 3.1 Gen 2, DisplayPort 1.4, and also enables you to connect an external display using a display adapter. The port provides data transfer rates up to 10 gigabits per second for USB 3.1 Gen 2 and up to 40 gigabits per second for Thunderbolt 3 devices. Lastly, on this side, we have the left side speaker. On the right side, we have the right side speaker. An SD card slot, which supports secure digital high capacity, and secure digital extended capacity. On over is a headset port that lets you connect headphones or a headphone and microphone combo. Here are the USB 2.0 ports that provide data transfer speeds up to 480 megabits per second. Last on this side is a security cable slot, which is wedge-shaped, and this allows you to lock your machine down with a security cable to prevent unauthorized movement of your machine. On the rear, we have an exhaust port with a fin design that looks like a radiator to a truck. Here's the G5 logo, which is not stamped on but rather painted. Lastly, this is the second exhaust port. Here's a closer look at the left and right speakers. Turning the laptop over, we have the G5 logo in large font. The back panel has a ridged line design going in two directions. The ones by the logo are going vertical, while the ventilation area has them going horizontal and being thicker. The ventilation area is located at the bottom half. A few inches below the logo, there is a black sticker that displays the model, manufacturing date, service number, and other information. This is known as the service tag. Going across the top, we have a long anti-skid foot following the light bar. There is also the same material at right angles going along the bottom and along the rear of the laptop. To remove the cover, there are 10 screws. 6 can be completely removed while 4 can just be loosened. Be careful and make sure to use drivers that do not have strip heads and have the correct size. These screws can be easily damaged. Make sure your driver makes complete contact without any angles to prevent possible slippage. If you happen to damage the screws, they are size M2 by 7. Getting in is pretty standard. Pick a corner and pry it open with something thin and plastic. I tried to open it from the front, but managed to gain entry in the rear side. It was pretty straightforward from here on out. Gently work your way around until the cover is loose. When all the sides are cracked open, slowly, and I mean slowly, open the rear and take note of the small ribbon cable. You can disconnect it if you like, but I instead left it and spread it open like so. You may have to put the speakers back on the right half of the machine as they can't separate when opening. Here is a quick overhead shot. Going over the top, we have the security cable slot area, USB 2.0, headset, microphone port, right side fan, heat sinks, GPU, CPU, left side fan, power adapter port, mini display port, HDMI port, USB 3.2 Gen 1 port with power share, network port, Thunderbolt 3, CMOS battery size CR2032, 2 RAM module slots, and these are covered by a black thin vinyl type of plastic. The WLAN module. This is the Killer 1650i. It supports up to 2400 megabits per second transfer speed, supporting 2.5 and 5 gigahertz bands. Other features supported are Wi-Fi 802.11a, B, G, N, AC, and AX. The card supports WEP, AES, and TKIP encryption. Lastly, the card has Bluetooth 5. Here are the M.2 slots. This machine has a 2230 size SSD, meaning it is 22mm wide and 30mm long. Both slots support the 2280 size that most people are accustomed to, as you can see the screw holes here. The current storage has a thermal shield on it, and there was no others inside the box for additional installation. Here's the SD card slot. Right side speaker, a 4-cell polymer 68 watt-hour battery, light bar cable, left side speaker. Going back to the top, the exhaust area is made out of a metal of some kind, and I'm hoping it's copper. The heatsink is coated in a black matte color on both sides, as well as the heat pipes going across the CPU and GPU. The fan blades are made out of plastic, as I took a magnet to them and it did not attract. On the underside of the base cover, there are a lot of thermal shields. The coverings for the fans, which air enters, have a screen filter to protect them, which is non-removable. Mind you that the base cover is made out of plastic and can still be damaged if dropped or mishandled. The 2 speaker grills are made out of thin metal. Putting the base cover back on goes on the same way it came off. Gently fold the bottom back on, being very careful of the ribbon cable if you left it connected. Push firmly all around the machine and make sure to put the screws back in. If done correctly, you will not have any broken pins or plastic pieces. I didn't notice any in the machine that I have, which is perfect. Here's a shot of opening the machine with one hand again, but this time on the left hand corner. Hitting the power button will launch Cortana, which will help you set up your machine. This setup was a little frustrating because it tries to get you to connect all your devices through Microsoft as well as have targeted ads. It also tries to get you to sign up for Office 365. Even at the end, it wants to use virus protection even if you deny it. After almost making it into Windows, I found out that the battery is low, so I have to plug in the adapter. It has a pretty thick connector along with a bright blue light on it. I was able to plug it in with one hand without the laptop even sliding. After entering Windows, I had to disable the McAfee virus protection because it was just so intrusive. When I was in MS Config, it just kept deselecting itself to be disabled, like I was the virus performing the action. There was no way for me to do this, so I had to go into safe mode. After attempting this, I failed as BitLocker was turned on. I had to log back into Windows, disable BitLocker, and try again. I was successful, but boy, it just didn't want to go. It kept reminding me that I had a subscription for which I didn't give a damn at that point. Here's the screen in total darkness. It looks a little brighter than it really is, and maybe because of the camera performing corrections. This is some 4K video at different angles. The panel has a max resolution of 1920 by 1080 and is full high definition. The luminance is 300 nits, color gamut is 72% NTSC, and the refresh rate again is 144 Hz with a 19 millisecond response time. This is the Blur Busters UFO motion test. Next we have the camera. Going from left to right, we have the left microphone, the camera itself, the camera status light, and the right microphone. The status light will turn white when in use. The camera is a little better than some laptops, featuring a resolution of 1280 by 720 at 30 FPS for video and just under 1 megapixel for photos. This is a good camera for video conferencing and can take photos and record video. This is Meanpooh taking some footage for the Dell G5 5500. Hopefully I'm not echoing. This is how the keyboard sounds while typing. It's hard to type with gloves on, but this thing is a magnet for fingerprints. This is how the touchpad sounds. This is my flex test, where I push on random parts of the surface area. This machine did have some flex, but not as much as the Acer Nitro 5. In some places it felt really stiff as it should be. I'm okay with my findings, although manufacturers need to strengthen these areas, as some people have very heavy hands. And by the way, I'm putting around 7 to 8 pounds of pressure during this test. Here I have some sound tests. I'm about 2 feet away from the screen. Here we have the Alienware Command Center that lets you select the theme, start games, and adjust your thermal and power settings. This is the Library tab, which is blank because I don't have any games in here. You can do this manually, or you can let the software scan your drive. On the FX tab, you can customize your lighting for the LED bar as well as the keys. The keys are zoned LED and not per key. The first tab gives you an overview of the CPU, GPU, and memory clock. The thermal profile section lets you choose different profiles that will affect your fan speed. Off to the right, you can see the fan speed and temperature. The sub-tabs will let you see the history and will allow you to create custom fan curves and save it to a profile. The next section down is power management. This is similar to what you would see in Windows. There's a balanced, high performance, and a Dell optimized mode. You can of course create your own. Next is the audio profile section. This will let you pick a custom sound profile for listening to music, playing games, or watching movies. You have a lot of control to adjust the final output, which will sound much better coming out of a headphone or using the line out to an amplified system. The last section is the audio recon profiles. This will let you mess around with the 7.1 speaker systems by letting you manipulate a circle around the map that is outputting sound in reference to your position. You will then hit the 7.1 audio button to hear the result. This may be useful in games that rely on listening to certain sounds, such as enemies' footsteps. In the settings, you can adjust the user interface for the program and also choose the background such as smoke, particles, and more. In miscellaneous, you can choose to send diagnostic data or disable the Alien Effects API. In the profiles area, you can set a default profile that is selected when the program starts. Lastly, you can send feedback to Dell if you feel the need to do so. This is the Cinebench score. Here's the TimeSpy score. Here's the Firestrike score. This is some info about the drive, which is listed as BC511 NVMe Sky Hynix. This is the Crystal Disk Mark score. This is the full system drive benchmark, which lasts around an hour. This will test out the drive with different applications, reads, and writes. The modern office test will use the battery in a simulated office space. The PCMark 10 test will test the system as a whole, getting a score for performance. This is not a battery test. Here I am using balance mode for the thermals and power. I will show you some pages in CPU-Z and then start the stress test. Starting the test will cause the temps to rise quickly into the 90s. After around 5 minutes, the clocks have stabilized around 3.3 GHz and the temp staying around 81C. I will now enable the G key to boost the fan speed. Temps are starting to lower as well as clock speeds increasing. Temps have pretty much stabilized around 85C, while the clock speed is hanging around 3.6 GHz. Using Throttlestop, I will attempt to get the best clock and temp while the fans are at max speed. I'll do this by adjusting the speed shift. As I make changes, you will see the temps and the clock speeds change. It will take some seconds for the change to affect the temps, and a little patience is needed. Having a speed shift of 1/16 and temps teetering on 90C is the best I can achieve while recording. The clock speeds are just reaching 4 GHz. While not recording, I can reach lower temps and a little higher clock speeds. I just stopped the stress test. Alright, that's the temperatures. But the fans completely stopped after I disabled the G key, or the shift mode. You hear nothing. Again, just to show, listen for the fans. There they go. And it should get louder. Should get louder as the temperature starts to climb. You can barely hear them. And there they went, completely off. Temperature is, where's the temperature? 49°C. So around that temperature, the fans will cut off. And this is in, let's see here. Balanced for power management. And thermals, I'm using balanced. Yeah. Fans will be off at around 50°C. And I just heard them kick back on. All right.
Suspect over. Call back to HQ. Responding to the situation now. Take you, I like your spirit. We are very I promise. Yeah. Not kill her. Family, welcome to your new home.
Brothers. 2 miles out, hold your fire. Gunshot suppressor, the LZ. It's an ambush!
Python 2-5, we got a flight of fighters holding inbound. They're all yours if you want them. Reported seeing your crash site 5 clicks due west of us. We got our hands full here. You gotta come to us for extraction. Those Navy jets just hammered enemy positions about half a click northeast of you, so be careful. How copy?
Copy that. I'm coming to you. Python 2-5 out.
Place is festered with outposts and AAA, so have an eye. If we hear anything else, we'll pass it along to you. Good luck, buddy.
Rest in peace, buddy.
Stand your ground. Cell capture in progress.
Team deathmatch. Fight with pride, DJI.
Throwing grenade.
Enemy.
spy plane above. Hostiles.
Momentum's building. Take it to him. We're taking the zone. Dig in.
Stop
Expect
jumping in
resistance.
front of me, you fucking faggot. What the fuck?
KO. Fight. You win.
In this section, I'll briefly go over some of the software that came with the Dell G5 5500. Dell Update will let you see the model, service tag, and check for updates on your machine. There is also a system information link that will let you see the drivers installed and what the device is. You can even export the list. The Check Update button checks for updates for your machine naturally. Dell Power Management will let you make changes to how your machine will utilize the battery as well as thermals. Battery information lets you see the health, charge status, and profile being used. The Settings button will let you change the profile being used or customize it. You have a lot of control in this area. Advanced Charge allows you to customize charge times. Thermal management has been seen before and is pretty much the same as an Alienware control panel. Here you can choose a pre-made profile or configure one for yourself. Battery extender can only be used while unplugged and applies to the setting below. This is what I used in the video test, except I did not mute the sound. Lastly, we have the alert settings section to where you can restore default notifications and settings. Dell Mobile Connect lets you connect your phone or Android device to your machine. It will walk you through the process, and when finished, you will be able to access your photos, videos, and be able to create text messages and get notifications on your machine. The Dell Digital Delivery lets you download software that you may have purchased from Dell. The My Dell app is pretty much a store to where they can advertise to you. You have access to your warranty, system details, the Dell store, and support. So, what do I think about it? Well, I think the build quality is good. It feels pretty sturdy. The speakers sound a tad bit better than the usual speakers you find on cheap laptops and really shine when a headset is used. The Thunderbolt 3 and mini display port will be really useful for someone wanting to use possibly an eGPU later on, or use a VR device, hard drive, etc. The screen has a decent brightness and came with no dead pixels, or at least none that I could see. I like the light bar in the front that can accept customization separate from the keyboard. Things I don't like about the machine is the fact that it will run warm and possibly shut down. The machine has an RTX 2070 Max-Q, and the laptop was made to be able to handle the temperatures with the help of a lower powered GPU, and shutting down should not even be an issue. I wonder if repacing with a better thermal grease will improve performance. I might have to try that. Updating the BIOS helped, as the machine will try to stabilize itself at a certain temperature while gaming. In my experience, I noticed that the game will start off with high clock speeds and may possibly go to the 90s. The machine will then throttle the system down to a decent temp, in which I'm not sure how it's determined, but it's below 90 and in the lower 80s. Sometimes this is good, as you will get stable FPS, but at the cost of them being lower. After a small rant, I went looking for some answers, and I forgot about an article that was in one of my videos about the Plundervolt exploit being patched, and that some Dell users were able to mod their BIOS to get Undervolt working again. I was able to do the same exact thing as the users did, and I'm very happy about it. It's a process, and if you mess up, you could possibly brick your system. Anyway, this machine really collects fingerprints. I don't like that. I try to keep the gloves on as much as possible and only took them off for a handful of times. And the results are not pretty. You can easily wipe them away with a damp or dry cloth. I wish the design was a little bit more sleek on the lid, but that's minor and I'm only nitpicking, as the lid does not affect performance. The Dell software is a bit naggy, as well as the virus protection that I just had to remove. If you are able to undervote, I believe the Alienware dashboard control may be interfering with the settings, and a clean install of Windows may clear things up. I don't like how almost every app has a thermal setting and power setting that can be adjusted. That's just too many in my opinion. Well, I think it's been going on long enough. If I had to give it a grade, it would probably be a 7.5, and being able to undervote again is a plus. Another thing is that there are 1660 Ti laptops for the same price as this machine. But before I go, I'll put my small rant at the end of this video just before I re-enabled undervolting. I was pretty pissed, and it has my opinion about the machine at that time. Also, if you'd like me to make a video on exactly what I did to modify the BIOS, just let me know in the comment section. If this video helped you, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, Meanpooh out.
Okay, this is strange.
This is a small rant that I had while testing some games. In the middle of a benchmark, the machine shut down while the fan's still going. Upon resuming the machine, it picked back up where it left off, with the clock speed starting high as well as temps. I was really disappointed until I was able to modify the BIOS to accept undervolting.
So far, I'm very disappointed. So let's just wait a sec. Set the keyboard and stuff. Okay, now it just shut off. So let me turn it on. It should pop back on now. Here it goes. Now watch this. This is gonna be insane when you see it. Watch. Okay, let me log in. Okay. Alright, so we're in, right? Look at that. It popped right back up. Benchmark results will be lost. Are you sure you do not want to quit? No, because I didn't quit. It actually shut down on its own. And look at there, the temperature and stuff. So I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna hit no. There goes the fans. Now I tell you, no matter what I do, the computer would try to stabilize around 83C. Okay, and the clock speeds to stay low for some reason. I guess that's just the way the software is. But yeah, this is the craziest I've ever seen it. And I've been working on this for 2 days, all weekend. I've been working on this, working with this machine, had a review set up. I was testing some games, and then next thing you know, it just started acting funny. And I'm gonna have to not recommend this machine because it will get up into the like 100s temperature range, which is kind of scary. But that's all I wanted to say. This is just ridiculous. I wouldn't recommend this laptop. I don't care what the price is. Any Max-Q laptop, please do not get it. Do not get it. This is a Max-Q. Where is it at? Yeah, Max-Q. Do not get it. Go with something else. And I'm very disappointed in Dell. Even this G key down here didn't do anything. It ramped up the fans and all, but it didn't do much. Save your money. Save your money. I'm frustrated. I'll catch you guys next time. Meanpooh out.